My beloved child, pause everything now. Yes, even the thoughts racing through your mind. Let the world around you quiet itself just for this moment. You don't need to fix anything right now. You don't need to solve or explain or perform. All I ask of you in this moment is to listen not with your ears alone, but with the whole of your spirit. This moment is not random. It has been waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. You may not have known it, but I've been close. Closer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat. I've stood beside you in the quiet, in the ache, in the hesitation that you could not explain. In those moments where your soul whispered something wasn't quite right, when you felt that tug to turn, to pause, to take a breath, you brushed it aside, thinking it was just passing thought. But that was me. That was my hand resting gently on your shoulder. That was my voice, low and steady, speaking through the silence. You see, I do not always speak through thunder or signs in the sky. I speak through stillness, through a glance that lingers too long, through that unexpected tear, through that unease in your chest that you couldn't name. And right now I am speaking again, not in mystery, not in metaphor, but in clarity, because something important must be said, and your spirit is ready now to receive it. There is a danger forming around you, not one that screams or threatens or announces its arrival. No, this one is subtle. It wears the clothes of comfort. It walks with the rhythm of routine. It doesn't frighten you, it convinces you. It tells you that everything is fine, even when your soul cries for change. It does not pull you into darkness all at once. It moves slowly, one small compromise at a time. A skipped prayer, a numbed conviction, a friendship that quietly drains you, a decision you said yes to, even though you felt the no rise in your spirit. These are the tiny threads being pulled, unraveling what I carefully wove into your life. And so I speak not because I am angry, not because I am disappointed, but because I love you too much to stay quiet. You have asked for clarity. You have asked for signs. You've said, God, if I'm in danger, show me. This is me showing you. This is me interrupting your pattern before the pattern becomes a prison. My child, not all trouble arrives looking like trouble. Some of it wears a smile. Some of it looks like an opportunity. Some of it feels like relief. But inside, it is eroding the very light I placed within you, and I will not let you go without calling your name. So let me ask you this. Have you noticed how heavy you've been lately? How tired your soul feels even after rest? Have you caught yourself laughing while feeling hollow inside? Have you felt that persistent ache, the one that won't go away no matter how many distractions you fill your time with? That's not just fatigue, my child. That is the ache of distance. The ache of a heart that has drifted from its source. From me. But I am not far. I have never been far. In fact, the ache is evidence that I am near, pulling, calling, whispering your name through the weariness. Come back. Come back to me before the gentle erosion becomes collapse. Come back before the compromise becomes identity, before the light becomes only a memory. You were never meant to carry these weights alone. You were not created to smile for the world while hiding your exhaustion from me. I never asked you to be strong for me. I only asked you to be honest with me. I want the you that trembles, the you that doubts, the you that says, I'm scared. That's the you I can hold. That's the you I can lead. Because, beloved, I don't bless performances, I bless surrender. And this is that moment, the divine interruption. The invitation to step away from what drains you and come back to what fills you. I will not rush you. I will not force your hand. But I will continue to speak, to wait, to stand at the door of your heart and knock not once, not twice, but as long as it takes for you to answer. You may say, but I'm not ready. I say, come anyway. You may say, I've gone too far. I say, you're still within reach. You may say, I don't even know where to begin. And I say, begin here, with me, with this moment. All I need is your yes. You've trusted voices that led you into fog. You've listened to fears that dressed up as logic. But now, it's time to listen to the voice that formed you. The voice that knew your name before anyone else did. The voice that's never stopped calling. My voice. You can begin again. You can lay it all down, the performing, the pretending, the proving, and simply rest in me. No shame, no guilt, just mercy, just grace. Just a love deeper than the pain that's followed you. There is more for you, child. More than just surviving, more than just getting through. You were made for clarity, for peace, for joy that doesn't evaporate with hardship. But to receive it, you must turn. You must step back from the edge. You must open your hands, release what you're gripping so tightly and say, I want you more than I want to figure it out alone. And I will meet you right there. Because I never stopped loving you. I never stopped believing in what I placed inside you. Even when you forgot who you were, I remembered. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. Take my hand. My child, before we go further, let me remind you this is not a message of condemnation. This is a rescue. A lifeline sent in the language of love. I am not angry with you. I am not disappointed in you. I am deeply, tenderly invested in your healing. And that's why I must show you what has been hiding in plain sight, what's been slowly clouding your vision, fogging your clarity and numbing your heart. There is an unseen struggle surrounding you, and I need you to see it. You've called some of it just life, or just how things are, but that's not the whole truth. What you've been calling normal is actually something abnormal that you've become used to. You've adapted to an environment that is slowly draining your soul. You've called peace what is really passivity. You've called strength what is really silent suffering. You've called wisdom what is actually fear disguised as logic. But I see through all of it, and I want to show you what's real again. There is a spiritual force working in the quiet, never loud, never aggressive, but persistent. It weaves itself into your everyday moments. It whispers through familiar voices, through the media you consume, through the self-doubt you've accepted as part of your personality. It tells you, you're fine. It tells you, everyone feels like this. It tells you this is just adulthood, this is just aging, this is just how the world works. And slowly, it dulls the sharpness of your discernment. It lulls you into emotional numbness. It makes you okay with being disconnected from me because everything around you still functions. But child, I did not create you for mere functionality. I created you for aliveness, for communion, for peace that passes understanding, not peace that's simply the absence of chaos. That shadow, the one I'm speaking, offends on your distractions. It grows stronger when you're busy but spiritually empty. It gains access through small compromises, not major decisions. That one friendship that constantly depletes you but you keep because it's not that bad. That habit that began as a coping mechanism but now feels like a necessity. That voice you hear sometimes, your own, that constantly tells you you're not doing enough, not being enough, not achieving enough. Do you see now? This is not random. This is not neutral. It is a quiet war for your heart, and I am here to win you back. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange tension between what looks fine on the outside and what feels off on the inside. That conflict between what people expect of you and what your soul is whispering in the dark hours of the night. That's the battle line. And I'm drawing near now not to shame you for being in it, but to lead you out. I want you to understand something that will change how you see everything around you. Not all voices that sound kind are for your good. Not all comfort is holy. Not all ease is peace. Some of what feels like relief is actually redirection away from me. Some of what you think is rest is really retreat from growth. Some of what you accept as support is actually seduction away from your true identity. And so I speak with clarity now. Stop calling it love when it drains you. Stop calling it God's will when it silences your spirit. Stop calling it normal when it has slowly killed your joy. Let me take you deeper. Do you remember that day not long ago when you almost turned around? when something told you to pause, to wait, to leave, to cancel, but you ignored it because the moment didn't seem significant. That was me. That was me guarding you from what your eyes couldn't yet see, and I'm telling you now, start listening to those nudges. Start trusting the quiet redirection. You've prayed for protection, and I've answered. You've asked for guidance, and I've spoken. But my answers don't always come through thunder. They often come through tension. Pay attention to the tension. If something feels off, don't rush past it. If a person leaves you drained and confused every time, that's not your fault, it's a signal. If you sense that your joy disappears when you enter certain spaces or speak with certain people, don't dismiss it as mood or fatigue. It's me. I'm gently showing you where your soul is being compromised. You don't have to live in spiritual exhaustion. You don't have to stay in places I've called you out of. You don't have to keep pretending that everything is fine when your spirit is barely holding on. I know the mask you wear. I see the smile. I hear the cheerful tone in your voice. I watch as you nod, reassure others, and continue on. But I also see what happens when you're alone. The sigh that escapes, the tear that falls silently, the moment you stare off into nothing, wondering if something is deeply wrong inside you. Nothing is wrong with you, my child, but something is wrong around you, and I'm trying to free you from it. So let me say this again. The battle is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, it is spiritual, it is emotional, and it is robbing you gently, slowly, cleverly. But it doesn't have to continue. If you stay close to me, I will show you. I will reveal what's hiding in plain sight. I will help you untangle from relationships that suffocate you. I will remove the veil from the situations you've tolerated too long. I will shine a holy light into the dark corners that have kept you from feeling fully alive. But you must be willing to walk with me, even if it means walking away from what you've known. Even if it means facing loneliness for a season. Even if it means silence while I rearrange your surroundings. I am not doing this to harm you. I am doing this to heal you. You've outgrown certain patterns. You've outgrown the version of yourself that plays small. You've outgrown the shallow relationships that don't challenge you to grow in me. It's time. I know the step feels uncertain, but I am already standing at the other side, arms open, ready to steady your feet. Let go of what numbs you. Let go of what flatters your insecurity but feeds your fear. Let go of the habit of ignoring my voice for the sake of comfort. Come back to me, and together we will begin again with clarity, with power, with joy that is real and cannot be stolen. My beloved, you've wandered through deserts of distraction. You've camped beside wells that did not quench your thirst. You've surrounded yourself with words and people and ideas that promised comfort, yet left you even more tired. And I saw it all not with judgment, but with longing, longing for you to return to the center, to come back to me. You've mistaken motion for progress. You've equated busyness with purpose. But child, movement without meaning only leads to weariness. The world taught you to keep going, to push through, to pretend you're fine. But I'm telling you now, you don't have to perform your way to my presence. You don't need to earn my love. You never did. I want you, not your perfection. I want your honesty, not your success. I want your surrendered heart, not your curated life. So come to me as you are. Come with the questions you've been afraid to ask. Come with the pain you've hidden, even from yourself. Come with your shame, your disappointment, your disbelief, yes, even that. Bring it all and lay it down at my feet. For I am not repelled by your humanity. I formed you from dust and breathed into you. You cannot shock me with your struggle. You cannot offend me with your fears. I knew your every weakness and still called you mine. So stop hiding. There is no healing in hiding. I know you've been strong for so long. I know the weight you've carried. I know the responsibilities you've juggled, the roles you've filled, the people you've held up even while you yourself were falling. You became the pillar, the anchor, the reliable one. But even anchors get weary and even pillars begin to crack. So lay it down, child. You don't have to hold it all together anymore. Let me hold you. You've tried to fix your life by rearranging the external, changing the job, ending a relationship, starting a new habit, moving, distracting, avoiding. But healing begins not on the outside but at the center, at the place where your soul meets my spirit, at the quiet place where your thoughts no longer scream and your heart can finally whisper, "I'm tired, Lord, help me." That's where I meet you. You ask, how do I come back when I've drifted so far? And I say to your turning to me is not a journey of miles. It is one turn of the heart. Just one turn. That's all it takes. One moment of honesty. One breath of surrender. One whispered yes. And in that moment, I am already there. Yes, I know there are parts of your life you feel ashamed to bring into my light. The choices, the compromises, the things you said you'd never do, but somehow did. But my child, I am not here to scold you. I am here to restore you. I don't love some future version of you. I love you now. Do you hear that? I love the version of you that limps, the one that doubts, the one that still struggles to believe they're worthy of good things, the one that cries alone at night and wipes their face before anyone sees. I love the real you, not the polished public you, the real, raw, wounded, wonderful you. And that's who I'm calling back to me. You may feel like you've wasted time, like you missed your window, like you've gone too far off the path. But I tell you this in the fullness of my authority, nothing is lost in me. No time, no tear, no broken chapter. I am the Redeemer. I restore what others discard. I rebuild from the ruins. The enemy wants you to believe it's too late, that the damage is done, that your story is too complicated. But beloved, I write redemption into every story surrendered to me. Do you remember the moment you stopped dreaming? The moment you stopped believing in joy without fear? That's the moment your spirit began to shrink. But I come now to breathe life into those places again. To show you it's not too late to hope, not too late to change. Not too late to begin again, not as a patched-up version of the past, but as something completely new. Let me awaken the dreams you buried under the rubble of disappointment. Let me reignite the passions you've silenced out of fear of failure. Let me pull back the veil so you can see what I see when I look at you. Because I don't see failure. I see fire. I see light. I see beauty rising from ashes. I see a spirit not broken, but being reshaped. I see someone worth fighting for, someone worth redeeming, someone worth pouring my love into over and over until they begin to believe it's real. Yes, this is personal. I'm not speaking in generalities. I'm speaking to you right now. Your name is on my lips. Your face is before me. Your heart aching as it is matters to me. And because it matters, I'm not offering quick fixes. I'm offering transformation. The kind that doesn't just patch your soul, but makes it whole again. The kind that doesn't just help you survive, but shows you how to live. But you must say yes. You must decide if you want healing more than comfort, clarity more than control, truth more than appearances. Because I will not force you. I will only invite, and I will keep inviting again and again, because my love is patient beyond measure. Will you answer this time? Will you pause before the next habit, the next relationship, the next escape, and ask me if it brings you closer or pulls you further? Will you let me guide you not just with obvious signs, but with gentle nudges, with peace that settles deep, with conviction that doesn't shame but lovingly corrects? Will you let me sit with you in your grief? Will you let me walk with you through your fears? Will you let me rebuild, not the life you had, but the life I designed for you before the foundations of the world? Child, it's not too late. Not even close. Come back to the center. Come back to the quiet place where you and I began. Let everything else fall away and just let me hold you. My beloved, now that your heart is quiet enough to receive, let me tell you something you've long suspected but feared to confront. Much of what you've called peace has not truly been peace. It has been avoidance. It has been silence that disguises fear, not rest. It has been comfort crafted by the world to keep you from noticing how far your soul has wandered from me. I say this not to hurt you but to free you. You see, there is a difference between peace and numbness. True peace restores, numbness only delays. True peace draws you into life. Numbness keeps you suspended alive in body, but disengaged in spirit. And you, my child, were created for a vibrant spirit. You were created to feel deeply, to hear my voice clearly, to move with purpose. But the false peace you've settled for has dulled your senses, turned your prayers into routines, and turned your discernment into mere suspicion. There is a danger in being too comfortable with what wounds you slowly. The habits that make you feel okay but steal your strength. The relationships that are familiar but hollow. The daily motions that appear productive but leave your soul famished. This kind of life is not the life I promised you. This is not the abundance my son died to give you. And yet, I have not turned away. Even when you closed the door and called it boundaries, I waited. Even when you drowned my voice in busyness and called it being responsible, I whispered. Even when you traded divine rest for a dozen distractions and called it coping, I remained. Because my love does not grow weary, my pursuit does not stop. I do not give up on the ones I call mine. And you, beloved, are mine. I know how hard it is to let go, to release what once made you feel safe. But some of what gave you comfort in one season is now the very thing stalling your healing. The scaffolding that held you together while you were wounded must come down if you want to be made whole. That is why I bring you now to the place of sacred exchange. The place where I say, give me what no longer serves you, and I will give you what truly saves you. Give me your fear of being alone, and I will give you my presence that never leaves. Give me your need to always understand, and I will give you my peace that surpasses understanding. Give me your habits that numb your pain, and I will heal the wound beneath them. Give me the stories you've told yourself about who you are, stories of failure, shame, regret, and I will remind you of the name I gave you before the world ever spoke. You do not need to carry all this anymore. It's not a test. It's not a punishment. It's an invitation, one that comes not with pressure but with promise. You've been asking me to change your life, but change doesn't begin outside. It begins with surrender inside. I will not force you to let go. I will not rip the idols from your hands. I will not shame you into transformation. That is not my way. My way is love. My way is freedom. My way is you opening your hands slowly, bravely, and placing what you've clung to in mine. Yes, it will feel like loss at first. The loss of what once made you feel safe, even if it also made you sick. But then comes the release. Then comes the breath you didn't know you'd been holding. Then comes the lightness that only arrives when you are no longer divided inside. Then comes the real you, emerging from the layers of self-protection and fear and performance. That's what I'm after, child. Not your perfect version. Your true one. You think you need to improve before you return. But I say, return, and I will make you new. You think you need to fix the mess first. But I say, bring the mess and watch what I do with it. You think you need more time. But I say, now is the time. This moment, this breath, this sacred invitation in the stillness. Do not delay. Do not wait for a sign more dramatic than this divine pause where my words reach your soul. You asked me to speak. I am speaking now. And my voice is not condemning you. It is lifting you out of the spiral of pretending, lifting you from the pit of quiet despair, lifting you from the lie that says this is just how life will always be. Beloved, there is more, so much more. but it cannot enter your hands while your fists are clenched around what is dying. You've asked, why does it still hurt when I'm doing everything I can? And I answer, because you've done everything except release it to me. You've managed, controlled, analyzed, endured, but have you surrendered? That is where peace lives, not in control, but in surrender. And surrender is not weakness, it is strength, it is courage. It is the sacred declaration that says, God, I trust you more than I trust my pain. That is what I'm inviting you into. Not a religion, not a performance, a relationship with me, where you can be known and loved fully, where you don't have to be strong all the time, where you can break and be rebuilt, where your soul finds rest, not from perfection, but from presence. My presence. So now, child, pause again. Just breathe. Feel what rises in your chest. Let the tears come if they must. They are holy. They are a release. They are proof that something inside you still hopes, still believes, still longs to be whole. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far. You are just in time for redemption. My child, listen closely now, because what I am about to say is not only tender, it is urgent. This is the part of my voice that many overlook, because they only want comfort, not correction. But I give both because I love you too much to soothe you into destruction. I must warn you, there is a place you are approaching, and it appears harmless. It looks like something you can handle. It doesn't seem dark, or dangerous, or deadly. In fact, it might even feel familiar, like something you've navigated before. But this time, it's different. This time, the cost of ignoring the nudge, of brushing aside the discomfort, of postponing what must be confronted, could be devastating to your soul. This is not fear I'm speaking from. This is clarity. You see, when your spirit is sensitive to me, you can sense what eyes cannot see. You may not have language for it, but you know when something is wrong. You feel it in your body. In the way your joy suddenly drains, in the way your confidence wavers for no reason, in the way your mind feels clouded and your peace begins to leak. Those are not coincidences. Those are early warnings from heaven. You've prayed, Lord, don't let me fall. And I've answered not by removing every trial, but by giving you these signs, these inner alerts, these spiritual roadblocks, this strange heaviness when you step toward what isn't aligned with me. But here's what happens too often. Instead of pausing, you push forward. Instead of listening, you justify. You say, I'll be okay. It's just one conversation, one compromise, one exception. But my dear one, it is not just one. It is a pattern, and patterns shape destiny. You don't fall all at once. You drift. One small turning, one ignored whisper, one tolerated lie. And soon, what once disturbed you becomes your new normal. What once triggered your spirit now barely registers. That is how erosion works, not with an explosion, but with a slow, steady fade. So I'm speaking now before the edge appears beneath your feet. I am not just the God who saves you from the pit. I am the Father who warns you before you get close. If only you'll listen. The place you are heading toward, if you continue without correction, will cost you more than you want to pay. It will cost you your peace, your clarity, your spiritual authority. It will blur the line between truth and almost truth, between obedience and convenience, between love and dependency. And it will not look evil. It will look reasonable, attractive, justified. But child, that is the nature of deception, never looks like danger until it's too late. I do not say this to frighten you. I say this to open your eyes, to awaken your discernment, to restore your spiritual sight before it dims any further. You've tolerated things that slowly chip away at your strength. You've said, it's fine, when your soul whispered, it's not. You've allowed certain people too much access. You've ignored how your spirit feels after you leave, them not realizing that confusion and heaviness are not random, they are signals. And I am that signal. I am speaking through your discontent, through your restlessness, through the exhaustion that makes no sense. These are signs, not symptoms. Pay attention. Because while the enemy works subtly, I work precisely. And now is the moment where everything can shift. You don't have to wait until you crash. You don't have to lose everything before you wake up. You don't have to unravel to be reminded of your need for me. You can turn now, right here, right in the middle of the ordinary. And I will receive you not with scolding, but with celebration. But hear me, child. Some things need to go. Yes, need. Not because they're bad, but because they're not aligned with where I'm taking you. Some relationships will not survive your healing. Some environments will feel foreign once your eyes open. Some habits that helped you survive will now hinder your freedom. Let them go. Let them fall away as you rise into clarity. It will hurt. I won't lie to you. Letting go of what has defined you, even if it damaged you, is painful. But the ache of release is nothing compared to the agony of remaining bound. You were not created to live small, silenced, sedated. You were made for freedom, and freedom comes at a cost. Honesty, surrender, alignment. You've asked me for elevation, but elevation requires separation. You've asked me for clarity, but clarity requires silence. You've asked me for purpose, but purpose requires pruning. You cannot step into the next season while clinging to what I've asked you to leave. And child, I will not bless what I've already asked you to release. I cannot breathe life into what is not of me. So now I ask you, will you trust me? Even when it doesn't make sense? Even when you still feel attached to what I'm asking you to let go of? Even when you don't yet see what's next? Will you trust that I'm still good when I say no? Will you believe that I'm still close when I seem silent? Because the truth is, I've never left. I've only waited. Waited for your yes. Waited for your stillness. Waited for your heart to finally say, I want what you want, Lord, even if it costs me everything that isn't from you. Say it now. Say it with trembling if you must. Say it with tears in your eyes and a broken voice. But say it, and all of heaven will move in response. Because I'm not interested in behavior modification. I'm after your transformation. And it begins when you heed the gentle warning, when you pause before the cliff, when you remember that I only speak hard truths to protect sacred things. You are that sacred thing. Your future is sacred. Your voice is sacred. Your peace is sacred. Your calling is sacred. And I will protect it, even if it means disrupting your comfort. So choose now, my child. Choose life. Choose truth. Choose me. Before the fall, before the wound, before the detour, choose me, and I will carry you not just away from danger, but into a life more beautiful than you've dared imagine. My beloved child, now that your heart is more still and your spirit more open, let us talk about something delicate, yet deeply defining. The company you keep, the people you walk with, the voices you let close, the counsel you receive in your most vulnerable moments. This matters more than you realize, for not everyone who stands beside you is sent by me. Not everyone who smiles at you honors the light within you. Not everyone who says, I'm here for you, actually carries your destiny with care. And while I know you want to believe the best, while your heart seeks peace and unity, I must tell you the truth. Some people are slowly dimming the very fire I placed inside you. You have been asking, why do I feel so unclear? Why has my joy become harder to reach? Why do I question my direction after certain conversations? And I say to you now because some of the voices around you are not echoes of my truth, but distractions wrapped in familiar tones. There are those who appear gentle but carry jealousy. There are those who offer comfort but plant confusion. There are those who seem harmless, even helpful, yet subtly pull you away from me. And my child, this is not about blame or judgment. It's about discernment. It's about clarity. It's about protecting the sacred territory of your heart. You must understand. Your spirit is sensitive. It absorbs more than your mind can interpret. When you leave certain conversations feeling smaller, unsure, anxious, that is not a random emotional dip. That is spiritual interference. That is your soul telling you, this is not safe. And I, your father, will not be silent while your light is being smothered by what you've called companionship. Some of these people were meant only for a season. They served their purpose, taught their lesson, or simply filled space while you healed. But now they are no longer aligned with the road I'm calling you to walk, and clinging to them out of comfort, guilt, or fear will only delay your growth. Release them, my child, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in peace. Release them so you can rise. Release them so your soul can breathe again. You've been asking me for direction, but I cannot speak clearly over the volume of conflicting voices. You've been asking me for healing, but you keep letting in people who reopen the very wounds I'm trying to close. Don't you see? Your environment matters. Not just the physical one, but the emotional and spiritual landscape you inhabit. If you lie down in a field of thorns, don't be surprised when you wake up wounded. So I ask you now with tenderness and truth, who do you let sit beside you in your most vulnerable hours? Who has access to your inner world? Who do you run to when your heart breaks? Are they leading you back to me or away from me? Are they calling out your courage or amplifying your fear? Do they speak life into do they keep you tethered to your lowest version? Child, I'm not asking you to isolate. I am asking you to elevate, to walk with those who lift, not weigh down, who challenge, not criticize, who see the light in you and protect it as fiercely as I do. And if you say, but Lord, I don't want to be alone, I say, you're never alone. I am with you in the silence. I am near when others walk away. And I will surround you with new companions chosen by my hand, not by your fears. People who will water your soul, not drain it. People who will call forth your destiny, not your doubt. But first, you must create space. Clear out the noise. Detach from the emotional entanglements that leave you weary and confused. And as you do, you will begin to hear me again, not just faintly, clearly. You will feel your peace return. You will sense your courage rise. You will stand taller not in pride, but in clarity. Because your atmosphere affects your anointing, and I want your heart free again. You may grieve some losses. That's okay. Let the tears fall. Let the memories be honored. But do not confuse emotional history with spiritual alignment. Some people loved you in their own way, but they cannot walk with you into what's next. And that's not failure, that's transition. You are not being cruel by creating distance. You are being wise. You are stewarding your calling. You are protecting the sacred wellspring of your spirit. I will teach you how to bless and release, how to forgive without returning, how to love without losing yourself, how to be kind without compromising truth. It will not make sense to everyone, and that's okay. You are not accountable for their understanding. You are only responsible for your obedience. So when I ask you to let go, do not delay. When I show you a name, a face, a voice that's no longer meant to be part of your core circle, trust me. Trust that I am removing what weighs you down, only to make room for what lifts you up. Trust that I know the full picture. Trust that I am a father who doesn't just build, but rebuilds when necessary. And know this, I have never removed anything from your life without the intention of replacing it with something better for your soul. So let go of what is draining you, and hold fast to me. You don't need many companions. You only need the right ones. And I will send them in my timing, not yours. Until then, let me be enough. Let my presence be the friend who always understands. Let my voice be the loudest one in your life, and let my peace become your compass. You are walking into a new chapter, my child, one where clarity will replace confusion and courage will replace compromise. But to enter it, you must choose your company wisely. Walk with me, and I will show you the difference between those who keep you stuck and those who help you soar. My child, now that your heart has begun to see what must be released from around you, it's time we speak of what must be released from within you. The weights you've carried not on your back, but in your soul. The ones no one sees, yet you feel them every morning before you even rise from bed. These are not just burdens of the body. These are invisible burdens, emotional, spiritual, mental, and they have silently shaped how you see yourself, how you move through the world, and how you hear my voice. Let's name them together, gently and without shame. The burden of always needing to be strong. The burden of believing your value depends on your usefulness. The burden of guilt you never resolved, only buried. The burden of grief you told yourself you should be over by now. The burden of silent resentment from giving so much and receiving so little. The burden of comparison as you scroll through images of other people's curated joy and quietly wonder if you've missed something. The burden of fear that you're too late, that you've wasted too much, that your window has closed and I've moved on to someone else. My beloved, these are not your portion. These burdens were not assigned to you by me. Many of them were placed on your shoulders by others, some well-meaning, some careless, and some you picked up yourself, believing they were necessary for survival. But you were not made to carry them forever. Even now, I see the fatigue in your eyes, the tightness in your chest, the quiet sighs you release when no one's around. You are tired, not just tired in body, but tired in soul. And I am here to say, you can set it down now. Yes, even that. You do not need to keep proving your worth. You do not need to pretend that you're okay when your heart is aching. You do not need to carry the expectations of those who never really saw you. You do not need to carry the emotional weight of every room you walk into, absorbing everyone's mood, everyone's energy, everyone's needs while ignoring your own. Let it fall. Let the tears fall too, if they must. They are not weakness, they are release. They are sacred. Each one is a prayer without words, a letting go, a surrender deeper than language. You've said to yourself, I should be past this by now. But healing is not linear, and I am not impatient. I walk with you at the pace of love, not pressure. I do not demand that you rush through what wounded you. I want to sit with you in it, to unravel the tangled knots of memory and emotion, not all at once, but strand by strand. Gently, tenderly, safely. You've held yourself together for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be held. Let me hold you now. Yes, even in your mess. Yes, even with your doubts. Yes, even with your tired heart and tangled thoughts. You think that in order to be near me, you must be clean and clear and sure. But I come close to the broken-hearted, not the perfect. I come close to the ones who whisper, I'm not okay, and fall into my arms. Because, child, I am not afraid of your pain. I am not distant when you cry. I am not silent when you tremble. I am with you, and I want to take these burdens, not just carry them, but remove them permanently. But for me to do that, you must be willing to let them go. And that's the part that's hardest for many, because sometimes the burden becomes part of your identity. Sometimes the sadness feels familiar. Sometimes the anxiety is the only thing that's felt consistent. Sometimes the fear of not having the burden feels scarier than the burden itself. I understand that, I really do. That's why I don't rush you, but I do keep calling, because I have something better. I have joy that isn't performative. I have rest that isn't temporary. I have peace that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. I have healing that doesn't come in pieces but in fullness. You don't have to earn it. You only have to receive it. That begins when you say, Lord, I can't carry this anymore. That moment of surrender is the beginning of true freedom. So name it now, quietly if you must. That old narrative that keeps playing in your mind, I'm not enough. Lay it down. That apology you keep rehearsing in your head, hoping someone would finally understand you. Lay it down. That unspoken anger that's masked as apathy. Lay it down. That silent vow you made to never let anyone see you cry again. Lay it down. I see what you've been carrying, and I'm not asking you to explain it. I'm asking you to give it to me. Let this be the day the weight begins to lift. Let this be the moment your shoulders drop, your breath deepens, and your heart whispers, maybe I don't have to do this alone. Because you don't. You never did. You were not made to carry this weight. You were made to walk with me light, free, unburdened. And no matter how long you've held it, no matter how deep the grooves it's left in your heart, no matter how long you felt stuck beneath it, I can lift it. I can heal it. I can make you new. Will you let me? Even now, I'm standing before you gentle, patient, kind. My arms open, my eyes full of understanding, my hands ready to receive what's been slowly breaking you from the inside out. You don't need to collapse under the weight of invisible things anymore. Come, rest, let go. You were never meant to carry this. You were meant to be free. My beloved child, now that the burdens are beginning to loosen and the silence between us begins to feel safe again, let me whisper something that your heart has longed to hear, even when your mind questioned it. I never left you, not once. Not when you made the mistake that cost you more than you imagined. Not when your prayer life became dry and mechanical. Not when you chose your own way and felt ashamed afterward. Not when you sat in silence, angry at me for what you didn't understand. Not when you wept in the dark and no one came to see. I never left you. Even in the moment you said, I don't know if I believe anymore. I was there, not offended, not distant, but sitting beside you in your crisis of faith, letting my presence be the answer your intellect couldn't find. You see, I don't love you conditionally. I don't measure your worth by your consistency. I don't draw close only when you have something to offer. My love is covenant. My presence is promise. You may not have felt me, but I was there. You may not have heard me, but I was speaking. You may not have seen me, but I was moving on your behalf. Because my love is not based on your awareness, it is based on my nature, and my nature is unchanging. So let me say it again. I never left you. I was in the room when you couldn't stop crying. I was in the car when you drove in silence, wondering if anything would ever change. I was in the hospital, in the hallway, in the courtroom, in the bedroom, in the funeral home. I was in every God, are you here moment. And my answer was always, yes, I am. Even when you ran from me, I followed. Not because I needed you to behave, but because I wanted you to know you are never abandoned. And now, you are hearing me again, not as a stranger's voice, but as the familiar warmth that once wrapped around you like peace. That peace hasn't gone. It's been waiting for you to come close again. I never demanded that you be perfect. I only invited you to be present. I never asked for flawless devotion. I asked for honest return. I never expected endless faith. I welcomed mustard seed belief. So let go of the guilt now. Let go of the shame that says, I should have known better. I should have prayed more. I should have stayed closer. Those are not my words. Those are the echoes of accusation. And I do not speak in shame. I speak in mercy. You haven't ruined anything I can't restore. You haven't drifted further than my reach. You haven't broken what I cannot rebuild. Yes, there are consequences to choices. But child, grace is not the absence of consequence. It is the constant presence of love, even in consequence. And I am love. So let's talk about where we go from here, not in fear, but in faith. Start with me again. not with a long list of religious duties, but with a single, honest moment of connection. Sit with me in the morning, not with polished prayers, just presence. Invite me into your day, not to impress me, but to include me. Open your heart again, not wide, if that feels scary. Just enough for light to come in. And I will do what only I can do. I will restore what was lost. I will rebuild what was weakened. I will resurrect what felt dead. I'm not asking you to make it up to me. I'm asking you to walk with me. That's all I've ever wanted. You may say, but I feel so disconnected. And I say, even the connection you long for is a sign I've already begun the work. You may say, but I don't know how to come back. And I say, you're already returning right now, with this breath, with this listening, with this willingness. You may say, but I don't deserve this. And I say, you never had to. That's what makes it grace. There is no scoreboard in my kingdom. Only surrender, only love. So today, begin again. Wake up and speak my name, even if your voice trembles. Walk through your home and say, God, be with me, even if part of you doubts I will. Show up to the silence and trust that I will fill it. Take a walk with me. Turn off the noise and let my spirit rest on you like sunlight. Breathe and know that you are already surrounded. Because you are. I'm not far off. I'm not behind you, watching you from a distance. I'm beside you. I'm within you. I'm ahead of you. I go before you into every room, every decision, every tomorrow. And nothing, no power, no mistake, no person, no darkness can change that. You are mine. Not because of what you do, but because of who I am. So rest in that now. Let your heart stop racing. Let your spirit stop striving. Let your thoughts slow down enough to say, I am not alone. I am not forsaken. I am not disqualified. I am deeply, endlessly loved. That is your starting point. That is your anchor. That is the truth that pulls you from despair into purpose, from silence into singing, from brokenness into beauty. I never left you, and I never will. My child, now that you have returned to my presence, now that your heart has opened even slightly to what I have longed to show you, let me remind you of something sacred, something this world has tried to make you forget. You were made for more than surviving, more than maintaining, more than keeping up appearances and moving through days that feel void of color. You were made for wonder. You were made for meaning. You were made to walk in beauty that is not dependent on your surroundings, but flows from your spirit, beauty that begins in stillness with me and radiates outward like a soft but unshakable light. The world has conditioned you to shrink yourself, to make yourself palatable, to play it safe, to live within the lines others drew for you, and to define success by what can be seen, counted, or compared. But I did not create you to be measured by numbers, likes, income, or status. I created you to live fully with a spirit that breathes deep and a heart that moves freely. I created you to reflect my love in a way no one else can. And even if the world has forgotten that light in you, I haven't. Even if you've forgotten it, I haven't. I see the seeds I placed in you before time began. I see the dreams that still flicker deep inside, some of which you've buried under disappointment, others you've dismissed as too late, too foolish, or too much. But child, I am not finished. Not with you, not with your story, not with the things I whispered into your soul in the quiet moments you've tried to forget. You think it's too late? I say this is the perfect time. You think it's too broken? I say watch what I can build from what others discarded. You think your best years are behind you? I say your most meaningful years are being formed now, from the ashes of what didn't work, from the healing of what hurt, and from the surrender of what you thought you had to be. Let go of the belief that it's over. Let go of the voice that says, there's nothing more for me. That voice is not mine. My voice says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it?" Yes, even now. Even if you feel stuck, even if you've made mistakes, even if you've lost time, even if you're not sure what to believe anymore, I am still doing a new thing in you. But for you to receive it, you must stop aligning with the lie that your value is determined by your productivity, your relationships, your appearance, or your ability to hold it all together. Your value comes from me, and I do not change my mind about you. You are not disqualified. You are not too far behind. You are not unworthy. You are a vessel I am still shaping, a story I am still writing, a miracle still unfolding. And yes, there will be pain in the becoming. Yes, there will be resistance in the rising. Yes, there will be days when you question everything again. But I will be there, in the doubt, in the silence, in the ache, in the joy, in the breakthrough. You do not walk this path alone. I walk it with you. Every step, every turn, every delay and detour. I waste nothing, and I leave no part of you untouched by grace. So I ask you now, will you dream again? Will you believe again? Will you let me restore not just your strength, but your vision? I want you to see beyond what's been, to lift your eyes from what you lost and see what I am still offering. There are relationships ahead that will not repeat the pain of your past. There are doors I will open that no man can shut. There is healing waiting that you thought was out of reach. There is laughter you haven't tasted in years. There is purpose with your name on it. But you must believe that more is possible. Even now, as you read these words, your spirit is stirring. That is not wishful thinking. That is hope being resurrected. That is me breathing on the embers. You've settled for too little for too long. You've accepted half joy, half rest, half love, thinking that was all you deserved. But I say to you now, you were made for fullness, full joy, full peace, full freedom, full connection with me. And I will not stop until you walk in it, not out of pressure, but out of promise. Because I am faithful to finish what I started in you. Not what you started, what I started. So let me finish it. Let me take the broken sentences and make a new song. Let me take the fragmented pieces and make a mosaic of glory. Let me take your weariness and trade it for renewal. Let me make your life a testimony not of perfection, but of presence. Let it be said of you, they walked with God even through the valley. They trusted again, even after betrayal. They smiled again, even after sorrow. They dreamed again, even when the world said it was too late. Because that's who you are becoming. Not someone new, but someone true. The true you, the original you, the one I've always seen. So rise, my child, not with force, with faith, not with performance, with peace. You were made for more. And I, your God, am ready to walk with you into it. My beloved child, now that you've seen what needed to be seen, now that you've laid down the burdens, released the people, remembered your worth, and heard again the sound of my voice in your soul, let me offer one last invitation. Not a command, not a demand, but a sacred and personal invitation. Walk with me from here. Not just in moments of crisis, not just when things fall apart, not only when you feel spiritual or strong, but every day in the quiet, the ordinary, the in-between. Walk with me when the sun rises and you feel a small hope awaken in your chest. Walk with me when the clouds gather and your thoughts grow heavy again. Walk with me when you're laughing freely with those you love. And walk with me when you're all alone and the silence feels louder than your words. Let me be the rhythm you return to. Let me be the anchor when your emotions shift. Let me be your first conversation and your last word each day. This walk is not about pace, it's about presence. You don't have to run to catch up with me. You don't have to climb to impress me. You only have to stay near, and I will lead. I will protect. I will remind you again and again, you are mine. There will still be battles ahead, but now you will fight them from a place of peace, not panic. There will still be decisions to make, but now you will choose with clarity, not confusion. There will still be valleys, but now you will walk through them knowing you're not alone. For I am your shepherd, your father, your friend, and I will walk with you all the way home. So now, take a breath, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes if you want to, and whisper with me, I am not alone, I am not forgotten, I am loved, and I will walk with you. Let that be your beginning. Let that be your healing. Let that be your life. I am here. I have always been here, and I am not done. Let's walk forward together.